Welcome to the family with
Alex Bernard Rasmussen.
Andy Brandt Bernard.
Co-host Catherine Brandt.
Yep, got everybody covered. There's no question about it. So, hey, very, very exciting. Frankie Morelli was on the show this morning. He's put out a book called The Mob.
Oh, you love the mob.
No, it's M-O-B-B. It's a very positive thing.
M-O-B-B.
It's called The Mob Cookbook and Diet.
And what does
MOBB stands for something, probably.
Metabolism,
Here, I'll find it right
obesity,
here. It's right here.
butt.
It is, but yes. Mercy, optimism beyond borders.
Oh, much different than what I thought.
Yeah, you were
Frankie right there.
headed in a strange direction.
There's a picture of Frankie right there. And the reason I want to show everybody the picture of Frankie is that's what all my Italian friends' fathers look like whenever you walk through the front door. It's like, what do you want?
It kind of does seem to be that way.
Yep.
I love it.
So the audience wants an update on Jude. He seems to be not coughing.
No, he still is coughing. Today was his very last day on
Pills.
on all of his antibiotics, and he's still coughing. So I'm going to call the vet today and see if he needs to have a recheck or if he's just going to have a cough for a while or if he takes, I don't know.
I know that now that I am in my 30s, whenever I get a cold, I have a cough for like a month.
In my lifetime, I've had like 4 coughs that have lasted 6 weeks or longer.
I've never had one of those.
I never used to get them ever until, I don't know, about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, there was something going around called the 60-day cough or the 90-day cough or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
and
well.
I got it.
cough,
And I had friends that had broken ribs coughing so hard.
Pertussis is the 100-day cough.
100-day cough.
I
That's what
doubt
it
you
was.
had
Which is whooping
pertussis.
cough.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ever since that virus went around, I get these. I did not get one this year, but last year I had one. I coughed and I coughed and I coughed. You seriously, you don't want to be around anybody because you're so exhausted from coughing, and it's so annoying to be coughing constantly. Nobody wants to be around you. And you go around outside and everybody thinks that you're spreading COVID all over the place. So they're all like, what are you doing in the elevator? It's like, I got to live my life. So
You gotta get home.
anyway, I just think that there's I think there's new viruses that go to your lungs. Either that or I'm just getting old and my lungs are
entirely possible.
crap. I don't know. Who knows what's going on? But yeah, Jude seems to be fine. He's a little tired today. He really, really, really wanted to go have a croissant at Louique. I tried to walk him, and he sat there like a donkey. I'm not moving. He looked across the street.
He looks across the street at Louise.
Looks at me, looks across the street, looks at me, I'm like, okay, we'll cross the street so you can pee over there. Then he just leads me over to Louique and stands there like a donkey again and looked at me and looked at the door. He would not stop. I'm like, we're not having a croissant today, and I don't even if I wanted to give you a croissant, I don't have any money. I'm just walking the dog. I got a bag full of poop and you. That's what I have. So
always
Those are the
assume.
things.
We should tell people a great part of the Louique is it is the best croissant I've ever had in my life. It's just fantastic.
it is
croissant.
fantastic.
That's awesome.
Alex, her family, all the kids, Alex's kids just love Louique.
Yeah, when we met them up in Disney World, you bought
18.
a ridiculous
Or 20 maybe
amount
it was,
of
yeah.
croissants for a small amount of people.
And the 2 kids ate them all.
They ate them all. I think I had 1 or 2. They are delicious. I won't allow myself to go over there all the time. I would be.
Yeah. When we
I'd
were
be-
down there, we went there quite a few times.
I would have to run. Do they have gluten-free things?
Yeah. A few
Oh.
of the things they have are gluten-free.
Oh, because our neighbor across the hallway, Lisa, who was on the podcast about her
Yeah, sex book.
Oh, yeah.
her vagina book.
Yep. Alex goes.
Well,
That
she
is
called it my
correct.
hoo-ha or something like that, right?
That's something
Yeah.
about
If
hoo-ha.
my hoo-ha could
something
talk, I think it was called.
Yeah, there you go. If my hoo-ha could talk.
Yeah.
Alex is making up.
Yeah, it's not a great name.
Well, anyway, she's a very delightful person, and she works out like a maniac. She looks great, and she does not eat gluten. And I said the world's greatest croissants are over there, and she had one and was mad at me because she ate gluten. and I guess she gets like an inflammatory response or something.
Gluten free.
Not the croissant.
No,
They're
you
just
can
not.
get
No,
the same.
not those.
They're not the same. Those
Croissants.
buttery, light, flaky, wonderful, fantastic. Didn't Michael Bryant eat like? He went in there, ordered 2, ate them, went back in, ordered 2 more, and she said, the counter person says, "Didn't you just have 2?" He's like, "Yeah."
So,
So I'm eating 4. Joyce and
Yep.
Kenny, they came down here and we told
Yep.
them about it, and they
Yep.
were going to bring us a box of them, and ate the whole box, and had to buy another box.
Yeah, they have
It's-
those what are they called? Iceland
bis-
rolls or whatever.
Iceland rolls.
Something like that. Some country name, and then
I
It's
don't know
food.
what you're talking
Danish?
about.
no,
Are you
not
thinking about
Danish.
Johann Joe's?
I might be.
I think you're
Johan's
thinking about
Joe.
Johann.
Oh, yeah,
Johann's Joe. That's the one that's got a
Yep.
lot of
Same
gluten-free
thing.
treats
Foreign pastry zone.
because Nordic people are like the gene pool for
Yep, they sure are.
celiac and
Really?
Gluten
gluten problems. Well, they never had grains up there because their growing season is way too short.
Should mention, by the way, Louis is named after a man named Louis who was in the French army. He was a paratrooper. He was severely injured in the
Yes.
war. And I mean severely injured, and he fought back, opened up Louis, and it's just kicking ass. It's so great when he's there. I mean, just to go buy a product from a place where a guy risked his life for other people.
Yeah, and there's a line out the door at all times.
Yes.
It's so delicious. It
wonderful.
really is absolutely great. He's a French man who moved to America for an American woman who went back to France to learn how to make a croissant. And you know how the French are about their food, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're very it's not only the ingredients, but it's the method, and there's no shortcuts in the way that they make things. He went back to France for like I think he said 1.5 years to learn how to bake the right way. That's a long time to learn how to bake.
Yes, no
You know.
question.
So
Yeah.
But honestly, they are the best croissants I've ever had in my entire life. The whole family feels that way. It is croissant.
It's like I saw this video of this
Ha, ha, ha.
guy.
Shut up, all of you.
I
be
saw
our
a
guest,
video of
be our guest.
this
put our
guy of
service
like
to the test.
making fun of white people on Cinco de Mayo,
Mm,
and like somebody walked through the door and he's like, "Oh hey buddy, would you like a modelo or some tostitos?" Like that's my dad.
what's that?
Not your dad.
That's exactly how dad acts.
I brought up
He's
people
trying to
doing that. Was that
assimilate.
on Monday? I think I brought up people doing that, like at
We talked about it. I
Mexican
think, on
restaurants.
Monday,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People do that all the time.
Yes.
It's fun stuff.
Well, when else do you
My
get to
San
practice
Pellegrinos.
your different languages in America unless you go to a restaurant?
Yeah, so shut up, all
We're
of you.
living in Florida.
I mean, in Florida, you can practice Spanish all day long. As a
You
matter of
sure
fact,
can.
it's probably encouraged. But every time I want to say something in Spanish to a service person or something, I just freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say thank you. I can say thank you and how are you and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like how long is the wait, or do you accept walk-in? Something's just very basic. I just freeze up because I'm afraid I'm going to say something stupid.
One of my favorite stories along those lines, my sister Bobby's husband, Patrick O'Brien, who I adored. I loved Pat. He was a wonderful guy. Been gone for several years now, unfortunately, but
Yes, more than
it was a
several.
great story that came back. Bobby and Pat, my sister and Pat O'Brien, got married, went to Europe for a trip, went to Germany for part of their trip to Europe, and I got several mentions of this from my sister and then other people. Pat wanted to fit in. So every place they went, he would study their language a little bit, only he would mix things up.
Oh yes, that's what I do too.
And when he was in Germany, he kept saying to people, "Oh, Dunkentag, Dunkentag," which means
Dunkentag?
thank day.
I say,
Duncan.
Dunkashane is what he
Guten
meant.
Tag is he was
Guten Tag.
mixing up, I think.
He was mixing up Gutentag and Dunkashane to Dunkentag.
Well, people are okay with that.
Absolutely, why not?
Yeah, I think they'd rather you make the effort than like have.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I mean, there are
people
people
really
in-
want you to try to speak French.
Yes,
when
they
you're
do.
there.
They don't want you
Yeah.
speaking. Well, it's
And
like in
they're-
Japan. If you go to Japan outside of any big city, a lot of people think that so a lot of restaurants outside the cities have a no gaijin policy, and a gaijin basically means non-Japanese.
Right.
And
Okay.
a lot of people assume that it's because they're racist. It's like, you're not one of us. We don't want you here.
Yeah.
But it's actually because they don't speak any English. They don't want you speaking English. They don't want to deal with an interpreter. So they just say, basically, if you're not native Japanese, then you're not welcome here because it's just too much of a hassle to deal with your, inability to speak Japanese.
Right.
But if you go up to those places and you start speaking fluent Japanese, odds are they'll let you in.
Well, and here's the thing about Japanese, Chinese. You can't really.
Dirty look at these.
Okay.
Oh,
Andy.
God.
Andy,
That's one of the languages that you
you got no shot.
like. If you
It's
went to
tough.
sushi and you were like, "I will have some sake," like if you tried to do the accent, you would be like, "That's offensive." Like because the accent and the words are so different than like Latin-based languages.
Yes.
So it's like such a much farther reach.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was a movie or a TV show or something where there was this white guy who had a really thick Chinese accent because he was adopted by Chinese people in China.
Mhm.
And so people would be like, "Why are you making fun of Chinese people?" And he'd be like, "This is just how I talk."
Why are you making fun of Chinese people?
Well, because that's the thing is like if you do an accent, a lot of people will think that you're being offensive.
Right.
Why?
That's true.
I don't know.
Because they think you're mocking the accent.
Right.
Why is it always negative now? We were talking about that on the morning show this morning. Can we ever start moving back toward the middle, toward one another again? Everything is offensive. Here's an example. The Boy Scouts are dropping the boy from the Scouts.
Yes, they are.
They're changing their name. The Boy Scouts of America will no longer be the Boy Scouts of America. Doesn't say anything about the Girl Scouts. I assume it'd be the same, wouldn't
Nope.
it?
Girl Scouts are still Girl Scouts. They're just fine.
Well, why is it Boy Scouts but not Girl Scouts?
Probably because of transgender laws.
No,
Well,
it's like girls have to be admitted into Boy Scouts now, so they can't be called Boy Scouts
But why is there still Girl Scouts?
because no one is anti-girl enough to sue and make it so they can't.
after 114 years, the Boy Scouts of America is changing its name and rebranding as Scouting America. They say it's to reflect their, quote, ongoing commitment to welcome every youth and family in America to experience the benefits of scouting. It goes into effect on February 8th of next year for their 115th anniversary. Who cares?
My guess is their numbers are dropping,
Oh, yeah,
Well,
probably.
they are, yes.
and they're just trying to
Yep.
keep
I was
their
gonna say
business going.
I know a decent amount of Girl Scouts.
Oh,
Like,
do you?
Probably 5.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God, nobody was in Girl Scouts when you were growing up.
I
No,
met one
nobody.
Scout in my life, one Boy Scout, and no Girl Scouts.
I
I-
just went to a wedding for what's the
Eagle-
top Scout?
Eagle
Scout.
Scout.
Yeah,
Eagle.
Max.
Oh,
Max was an Eagle Scout.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a decent amount of Girl Scouts because I mean I know a decent amount of little girls because I have one, but she has multiple friends and like our niece is a Girl Scout and all this stuff, and I don't know a single Boy Scout, even though I know again
No,
a decent
no.
amount of little boys working in school and my nephews. None of them do scouting at all.
Well,
So it's interesting.
what's interesting to me is, and I don't know why we've just decided that this isn't a thing anymore, but there have been conclusive studies that women and girls do better in math classes when there are not males present.
Really?
Yep. And I think that there are places where girls should have their safe little spaces to be girls and not worry about what the boys are doing. And I just think that there are benefits to that. I don't think that means for the rest of time that girls or women should be excluded from golf clubs and things like that. That's all stupid.
Yep.
But I think that there's a place and a time for people to enjoy being with the same gender in the same
Yeah, like
room.
women's only gyms makes sense.
Yeah, most book clubs are, gender specific.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
I don't know. Like I said, I just don't understand what the big problem is. I don't get. Well, who was the one that had the great quote? Because they were asked about this, that, or the other thing. I don't remember. Was that, hey, are you the member? You should become a member of our club. And I can't remember who said this, but they said, no, I don't want to be. And they said, why not? And he said, because I don't want to be a member of any club that would have me as a member.
Oh.
Which I thought was a brilliant response.
Sounds like something Rodney Dangerfield would say.
Yeah, it sounds like a Rodney Dangerfield. Maybe you could look it up and see who, because that's a brilliant line. I don't want to be a member of any club with the have me as a member is a great line, don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, on the other hand, what I was just saying, if you've got a girl who is like
It's Groucho
not
Marx to the Friars
intimidated
Club.
by boys and just, you know, if they're loud and obnoxious and stuff and they're fine with that. Maybe they have brothers, maybe they're loud and obnoxious like boys. I guess that's another thing.
So it was Groucho Marx and it was the Friars Club, you said, Andy?
Yep.
Friars Club.
He said, I don't want to be a member of any club that would have me as a member. What a brilliant line.
I feel like Fawn would be more interested in being a Boy Scout than a Girl Scout.
You think
Really?
so?
Yeah.
But she's kind of, she's introverted. So everybody
Yes.
screaming and yelling and carrying on, she wouldn't really love.
No, she wouldn't like that aspect of it. But I mean, I think that happens in Girl Scouts too.
Well, yeah, they're kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
Kids
but
are annoying.
like the activities that I know that the Boy Scouts do, I think would interest her more than what the Girl Scouts do. Like-
Don't they do kind of the same thing? Except for the
From what
cookies?
from what I have heard, and this is only through like the people of the troops that I know, is like the Girl Scouts go to different like outings where it's like they go to a airplane museum and learn about aviation, and then they get their aviation badge, and they go to this museum and learn, you know, whatever. Where it seems like, again, this is just from what I've heard, it seems like the Boy Scouts do more hands-on
Yeah,
things.
I would have liked that too as a kid.
Where they're like actually building fires, learning how to use a compass by, it's like, okay, you have to find these 5 things only using your compass. And like you have a parent with you, but you are the ones leading the way, and the parent will only intervene if you're gonna like go the absolute wrong way or something like that. And like, you know, bugs and animals, and Fawn likes all that kind of thing rather than just like, oh, I'm gonna go and learn about this. She's
So is there a top Girl Scout thing like Eagle Scout?
I was gonna say, I feel like I remember looking it up once, and there is, but I'm
Yes,
like, I've never.
It's called the
heard.
Girl Scout Gold Award.
See,
Gold Award, okay.
Nobody-
Gold
I
Award.
don't know anyone.
Well,
But you got,
people think that Eagle Scout is a thing, like you become an Eagle Scout.
isn't it?
No, it's an award. The Boy
It's an
Scout
award.
Eagle is the
Oh, I didn't
award you get for like
Getting all the badges
leading
or
the Boy
something.
Scouts.
That's hard
Yeah.
to get.
Oh,
too.
yes. You have to really be dedicated.
Yeah, you got to put a lot of
Yeah,
time.
Max
and
spent a
effort.
lot of time with the Scouts.
But you guys,
there's-
neither one of you were ever interested in being a scout.
No, and there was brownies.
Oh yeah, brownies.
Brownies.
Yeah, brownies, yep.
Are brownies
What
little
are the
Girl
brownies?
Scouts?
What are the
What
brownies?
happened to
The
the
brownies and
brownies?
Girl Scouts are different.
Let's see.
I don't know.
I think
It's
a lot
like
of kids
the
in my neighborhood were
purple version.
in scouting when I was
Oh, were
growing
they?
up. I think it was a big thing when I was growing up, but my parents wouldn't pay for anything. So
Brownies are in
Couldn't go.
second or third grade.
Oh, so they're like the little Girl Scouts.
No, the little Girl Scouts
Oh.
are daisies.
Days.
Oh, I didn't
Oh.
never even
Kindergarten and
heard.
first grade.
Okay, so
It goes daisies, brownies, juniors, cadets, seniors,
Okay.
and ambassadors.
So they're all
Ooh.
still Girl Scouts.
They're all Girl Scouts.
Okay,
but they
I
have,
thought brownies
Oh.
and Girl Scouts were different for some
Nope,
reason.
they're
So
just-
Fawn
okay.
would have been a brownie if she would have.
Right.
So like her friends that are in it. And then there's also a Christian version.
oh,
Christ Scouts,
It's called something American
Trail Life USA.
something American
Trail Life USA seems to be like the
No.
Christian alternative to Boy Scouts.
Girl Scouts.
Christian Girl Scouts. American Heritage Girls.
American Heritage Girls.
There you go.
Those were dolls.
learning so many
No,
things.
that's
They were
American
dolls.
Girl dolls.
I think there are.
That's
Yeah.
American Girl.
American.
There's no heritage.
Oh my
in
goodness. How do we keep anything
For
straight?
keepsake.
I wonder why. Because my brother Terry was a scout. I
Was he?
never had any interest. Then Todd, right after me, was a Cub Scout at least, maybe a Boy Scout. But then Tony and Troy had no interest.
Was a Cub Scout a Boy Scout again?
That's like
No,
the
a
little one.
baby.
It's a little.
Baby.
It's a
Daisy
baby boy.
equivalent?
Baby,
Yeah,
baby.
Cub Scout's the baby one.
Okay.
Let's see. What are the different ranks of Boy Scouts?
Let me see.
I wonder if I can find them.
Meh.
Well, I think that this whole, I mean, unfortunately, there were some abuse cases
I was
from
gonna
Oh,
say.
God,
Scoutmasters.
Yeah, I
and
feel like Boy Scouts need a little bit of rebranding anyway.
yeah, they probably did, and I think I really think that the concept of it, if you would have oversight of the people that are watching your children,
Yep.
like just make sure that everybody is behaving 100% of all the time.
Yeah.
I think that there's so many boys that don't have parents that are doing a very good job right now that it would be a good thing for kids.
Boy
Yeah,
Scouts
the
basically just have
community.
Cubs and Scouts. Those are
Okay.
like the two.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, if you don't have a father in your life and a group of kids learning how to do stuff, that's a good thing.
Yep.
Useful things. I mean,
Yeah.
building birdhouses. I know they help a lot. They are very
Yeah, there's a lot of
community oriented.
volunteer-
Yes,
yeah.
yes, they have to do a lot of community service, which is also a very good thing to learn how to do it at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they wouldn't be running around shooting each other at the University of Minnesota Dinkytown area
Yeah, that'd be good.
if they
That'd be a
had
good
more
run.
direction.
Maybe.
I haven't even checked on that. How they doing on the campus? Has anything calmed down yet?
Oh, there was a shooting.
Some guy was
Yep.
walking from his car to his car with a piece of pizza near the University of Minnesota, and this teenage gang was harassing him. And I know that they beat him up. I didn't know that they were shooting at him too.
Yeah,
But
they
were
shot at him,
Yeah,
too.
they were
Yep.
shooting at him too.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the kind of stuff.
I said
That-
pepperoni.
It would
Is
be
that what it
much
was?
better learning how to camp and use a compass.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody that I grew up with in my group that I ran with at St. Joe's and St. Anne's, I don't think any of them ever became Boy Scouts. I can't think of one that was in the Scouts.
I was going to say, the only Boy Scout that I think I've ever been around was Andy's one friend that was a Boy Scout.
Yep. Jeff.
Geoff.
No.
Oh yeah.
Geoff was not in the Scouts.
Oh,
Jeff
it was
was in the Scouts.
Jeff.
Which Jeff?
Neighbor Jeff.
Neighbor Jeff.
Ah, Jeff. Oh, he was?
Yeah. I always found that weird because he had hemophilia. So I was like, he was just covered in bruises all the time from
know,
his
I
scouting.
remember.
I was like, that just looks painful.
I
Why are you
remember
doing
being
this?
Like, this sounds like such a weird
Poor
thing
guy.
for people to have.
Yeah,
Hemophilia.
I
Like,
know.
oh, if you touch anything, you bruise and bleed everywhere. Like,
Yep. And then to go into a scouting program where you're like climbing rocks and stuff.
well,
it's
and
like,
he grew up on a farm.
He did,
And
yep.
like they.
Well, they give them clotting factors. It's not like they're just
Yeah.
like, go ahead and bleed, kid. They
Yeah.
give them.
Oh, that's
They
good
had,
news.
He had to have clotting factors all the time. I remember one time the power went out. There was a terrible storm up there, and they had to have a generator on their freezer so that he could have his clotting
Oh, yeah.
platelets.
He was the first
Yes.
person I ever met with a medical ID bracelet.
yeah,
That's a pretty serious one.
It is.
it is
Yeah.
a pretty serious one. As far as I know, he's doing fine though. I don't know.
Good.
I haven't really kept up with the old crew.
Yeah. I have no idea.
That is true.
But I can't even remember his last name.
I can.
I do.
Well, let's not say it, but
No, we
Here,
won't.
I'll
I
write
can't-
it on. I'll write it on the sheet for you.
oh wait, I
Put
think
on the
Well, you
chat.
can't hold it up to
I
any
think
to the
I
picture
remember.
Put it
anyway.
on the chat thing.
No, I'll.
she knows how to circumvent.
Circumvent.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
You can't show it there. Can't do
Aaron
it.
Cotton says, "What happened to the Weeblos? What the hell's a Weeblo?"
What's a
I don't know what you're
weeblo?
talking
The Weeblos was between.
Type
I
of
brought that
bird?
up this morning on the morning show. The Weeblos were very young Boy Scouts, I think.
A Cub Scout of the 5th rank who is at least 10 and a half years old and is preparing for entrance into Boy Scouting.
There you go.
Oh,
Weeblo.
Weeb.
I think
That's
Sounds
where
like a
Todd,
bug.
Todd
It
ended up in
sounds
a Weeblo, I think.
It stands for Will Be Loyal Scouts. We be low. It's we be low.
We be low.
Will be
Oh.
low.
Will be low.
No, it was just pronounced Weeblo, though. I do remember that.
Was
There
it?
were a couple, yeah, just
Why?
Weeblo.
They just skipped
Children.
a letter. We're like, eh.
I don't know. I have no
Say.
idea. I need you guys to guess something.
Okay.
Then Nana, don't be looking over here.
Don't do
What
it.
was just named the best state in America? And what was named the worst state in America?
By who?
Yeah, by.
This is the U.S. News and World Report.
Okay.
New York's the best.
Colorado.
Yeah, it's
Florida's
going to
the
be the
worst.
best is going to be New York or California. Worst is Texas or Florida
Yep.
or
Okay.
Alabama. They hate Alabama a lot for some reason.
There's one hint. The best state in America is the polygamous one.
Utah?
You got it. Very good.
Colorado.
It is a pretty
Interesting.
state. I like Utah.
It is very close to Colorado.
Not a lot of
Right, it
crime.
is.
The economy, I think, is fine.
Yeah. The whole
U.S. News
Portuguese
and
thing.
World. Exactly. U.S. News and World Report does a study each year that ranks all 50 states based on everything from education and healthcare to infrastructure and the economy. And this year, the number one state for the second straight year is Utah, the polygamous state. What is, oh, by the way, it says, yes, the one most known for polygamy, not drinking alcohol, and the fry sauce delicacy. What is that?
Fry sauce?
It says
Fry.
the fry sauce delicacy. I don't know what the hell
I've
that.
been to
Utah
and I never
fry
had
sauce.
that.
Yeah, it's a thing, apparently.
Never
What
had
is
it.
it?
Never heard of it. It's called fry sauce, and it looks like
It's like
I don't
mayo
know.
and mustard mixed together.
it looks
or
like yum
something.
yum sauce.
Oh,
Oh, it does.
Like
yeah,
every
mayo,
other
mustard, and ketchup or something.
aioli type.
Yeah, like every mystery sauce. It's got mayonnaise, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, pickle brine, paprika, and cayenne.
Jesus.
I'm out. Paprika.
You're out of
Yeah.
the mix.
Can't have it.
Most
you-
paprika is not made of bell peppers.
Not
I've
worth
told you
the
this
risk.
Well, it's
Not
also
worth the
like
risk.
pointless. Paprika is like the most pointless spice in the world.
I use smoked paprika.
Smoked paprika is good,
all
but
the
just
time.
regular paprika
But regular-
doesn't taste like anything.
I know regular paprika doesn't
What's
make
the point?
any sense. It's for color on top of deviled eggs.
Yeah,
but I
Yeah.
put smoked paprika on my deviled
And
eggs
they'll taste
because
better that
it's
way.
way better
Mhm.
anyway. So
Okay, in the 50 states, where does Minnesota come in, top to bottom?
Middle.
I would say 25.
Yeah, we're always pretty mediocre.
Fourth.
Fourth.
Well,
The fourth best state in America. The top four, top five, I'll do,
For education?
would be
Which is
just the
not
best
in-
state to live in.
Push overall.
Utah's first, New Hampshire's second, Nebraska's third, Minnesota's fourth, and Idaho is fifth. Iowa, Vermont, Washington State, Florida is ninth, and Massachusetts is 10th.
What's the
Now,
last?
the worst?
Yeah.
Well, let me see. The worst state is blah, blah, blah. Some of the ones that came in just before the worst state would be Mississippi, New Mexico, Arkansas, West Virginia, and Alaska. So the worst state in America
Alabama.
is Louisiana.
yeah, it's not a huge surprise.
Yeah,
A lot
but
of
I
murder
mean,
going on.
New Orleans was great. Well, you couldn't wander off the main street.
Yeah,
in
that's
New Orleans.
one
Exactly
street in
the
New Orleans
safest.
is great.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
like
the
most
nice
states, it has some really nice, wonderful areas, and some,
It does.
but it has some really, really nasty areas. So,
It does. There's no question. I still love
like Maryland.
Gene's old story about having a cigar at 2:00 in the morning and a 7-year-old girl goes skipping by in New Orleans. She goes, "What are you doing, mister?" Because I'm just enjoying a cigar. And the 7-year-old girl at 2 in the morning, skipping rope, said, "You better go inside before somebody kills you." It's like, okay.
Fun having to live like that as a child.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Why would you be out at 2?
Yeah, you got a 7-year-old
that-
girl. Yeah.
There is that. Yeah.
Anybody, Gene or the little girl.
Yeah, when
Why
I was
are you
when I
not in
was
bed?
awake at 3:00 in the morning, I didn't venture outside and
No.
wander.
I've been awake at 3:00 in the morning, maybe like twice, 3 times in my life.
I
I've got a
wake
lot
up
of
at 3:00
experience.
in the morning a lot.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I don't
I
wake
mean-
up at
Days.
3:00.
I mean, awake like
still awake.
not,
Yeah.
not,
Out and about.
like
Mhm.
actually living my life awake.
Yep.
You never partied till dawn?
No,
I never partied till dawn. I just stayed up till dawn.
I never.
Yes.
No, we had dance all nighters, or we stayed up all night
Mm.
every year once.
Yeah.
Or
Sounds
that's like
awful.
what I can think of why I would stay awake until that.
See,
time.
even when I was like sleeping like that, reverse schedule, I never did all nighters. Like I had to sleep. I've never been up 24 hours consecutive in my life.
Yeah, I would always come home and fall asleep right away. And I don't know if I'd stay up all night or if I'd sleep a little bit and we'd stay up until like 2 and then fall asleep or something.
I remember Alex and me, not you, of course.
Other Alex.
Other Alex. One day, like probably 20-ish years ago, we were like, all right, we're going to stay up all night. Let's do it.
Oh,
And-
God.
By 7 a.m., we were like, this is horrible. I need to go to sleep.
Well, you
Well,
did it
you
though.
just-
7
you did it.
a.m. is staying up all night.
Even as teenagers, we couldn't do it. But you have people talking about like, oh yeah, in college I used to stay up for 36 hours. It's like,
Why would you do that?
how?
No, thank
I
you.
remember
Cocaine, I guess?
Jan Taylor and me, we decided we were going to meet. We're going to tell each other's parents that we were sleeping over at each other's house, and we were going to stay out all night.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, this sounded like an exciting thing. So we lie to our parents. We meet up at the spot that we are supposed to meet up at. We did not prepare anything, did not bring, bug spray, nothing. We're sitting there like, okay, what do you want to do all night long? I mean, maybe we were 11, 12, something like that. I don't know why we came up with this harebrained scheme. Sounds like something I came up with. Anyway, we're sitting there in the dark, starting to get cold.
Everything's closed.
Where there's like strange noises in the trees. All of a sudden, the mosquitoes come
Oh,
out.
God, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Literally swarms and swarms of mosquitoes. So we ran back to her house and snuck in the basement window.
Oh my God.
And then, of course, her brother narcs on us to her mom. And she said, well, what was her excuse? Catherine's brother was snoring so loud, we had to come back over here.
Wow.
And she said, okay.
Well,
Sounds reasonable.
yeah. Why not?
There you have
Then
it.
just go in another room. So walk 2 miles to her house in the middle of the night because of a snoring brother.
I don't know. You told me
Sixties
that
were allowed.
your dad used to sleep or snore so loud that anywhere in the house wasn't safe.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
So there it
There was
exists.
a bedroom. There's a bedroom. This is the main floor. Bedroom. Their bedroom. Parents' bedroom. Then there was a family room. Then there was a hallway. Then there was a kitchen. Then there was a dining room. At the end of the dining room, there was a staircase going upstairs to where the kids all slept. You could hear him snoring that distance away, like he
pretty
was
bad.
right next door.
Golly, gee.
It was cartoon quality snoring. It was terrible.
Sawing logs.
It was bad.
No doubt about it.
Dogs.
Andy, I'd like you to do me a favor because I do it on my computer, but it wouldn't sound anywhere near as good because you can put it right on the stream, right?
Depending on what it is, yes.
A woman on TikTok posted a video after someone stole 2 dolls from her display case. And here's how you spell it. The related video is on this site. You ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Google.
No, that's not it. You ready?
Mhm.
LENDUHANDEARRY.
What is this?
Lenduhandari.
Then do what the hell?
Don't go
Okay.
on that website, Andy.
I'm gonna Google
Malware.
it first. Oh, it's a TikTok. I don't think I can do TikTok on the browser.
Oh, you can't?
Maybe.
Yeah, you can actually,
Can you?
because I don't have a
Continue as
TikTok, but I
guest.
can see TikTok videos that people post.
But which of these many
Well-
videos is this?
See, it's the people who stole her dolls. She had a couple of dolls and somebody stole them. So she's warning that they stole the wrong dolls.
Uh-oh, are they demon
Haunted
possessed?
dolls.
They're haunted dolls. That's exactly right. So I'll-
Karma.
There's a lot of videos about haunted dolls.
oh, she does?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
But stolen ones?
She appears to have a very large collection of haunted dolls. She puts them in. They appear to be in the refrigerator here,
Okay.
so keep the
well, that's
haunting.
probably a good
in
spot.
there.
Oh, yeah, I
for a
see that.
haunted
On ice.
doll. Be
Keep it
hard
on
for them
ice.
to get out of there.
It says story time haunted dolls, but she apparently talks about what's going to happen to these people who stole her 2 haunted dolls.
There's a lot of videos called Story Time.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought there was just the one. There was sent one, but
She kind of does.
This
the
woman
same.
makes a lot of videos. Let me tell you.
oh, does she really?
Jeez.
I saw something the other day that was like, anytime something bad happens to you, or just like, you drop something or whatever, you
Mhm.
say, "Ugh, the curse continues," and then you don't elaborate. And I'm
The
like,
curse
doing
continues.
I want to start
Okay.
doing that. That
What
sounds
was-
fun.
What was that? Was it a Twilight Zone episode, or what was it? That had that horrible little doll that came to that voodoo doll.
Oh,
That
that-
came,
that- that-
and
that
yeah,
one,
it scared
yeah.
the hell out of
Yeah.
Chucky from
everybody.
Child's Play. That was a
Child-
movie.
Oh, was it a movie? Okay,
Yeah,
I
like the redheaded,
remember.
and he wore like striped and suspenders. I mean,
know.
scary
I thought it was
dolls are like
I
in
thought it was a
everything.
black and
Chucky's like
white.
the
I think you're thinking of Chucky, but maybe not. I mean,
Chucky's
I think
the
it was
main
before Chucky.
awful doll.
before Chucky.
Yeah.
Let's see, Twilight Zone,
It might
Haunted
not. What was
Doll.
another one that had stuff like that? Twilight Zone.
Twilight
Oh.
Zone did have a Haunted Doll episode.
Twilight
Talkie
Zone,
Tina.
What was the other one? Oh yeah, Talkie Tina. I remember that
I
episode.
think this was like a voodoo doll kind of thing that came
what
to
was the
life
other
from
one?
from the bowels of
Well, there
Africa.
was Thriller. There was Twilight Zone. There was Thriller. There was Chiller. There were like 5 different ones.
It was a really scary one. I didn't like dolls after that.
That was it.
No, thank you,
Yeah.
my dolls. Did you know that you can get your deceased pet put in a doll?
That sounds horrible. No,
What?
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
In,
That's a
in
thing
it-
that some
in,
people
like
do.
the
Inside
ashes.
of a doll. No, like the body
Ooh.
in a doll.
It would rot.
I don't know what they do
I'm
to
assuming
it.
it's like mummified or something.
Yeah,
but
something, but
still,
they put it inside of a doll that you can like.
I
hang
think
No,
I'm
out.
thanks.
good.
I know, isn't that creepy?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used
You
to
gotta
think
let
like
go eventually.
whenever you got a pet die, you just taxidermy it and it'll be around forever. But
As
I
an
don't think I
adult,
would
it's
do
like,
that as an adult.
no, thank you.
When it's like there's
No.
like Melissa brought up something. There's like something you can do with your pet's ashes, like make him into a ring or something like that. And it
Yeah.
just-
Oh, I think you
Yeah.
can do that with any ashes.
You can do that
turn
with-
it into a diamond or
Diamond,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
It just I don't know.
I'm a little bit like, I love my pets as much as anybody else. When I can't even think about Bert being old ever.
Mhm.
No, thank you. But I don't know. I'm like, okay, ashes in a box over there. That's
I sometimes
fine.
wonder about that. It's like,
I don't know.
okay, if I'm lucky, I got another 60 years left in me. That's a lot of pets.
A lot of pets.
It
So
is a lot
okay,
of
I'm
pets.
I'm in my 90s. What I'm just gonna have like this mausoleum in my house of pet ashes.
We're
Mausoleum.
We're
Get it
planning on burying the ashes of our pets
In the backyard.
in the backyard.
I think after a certain point, you kind of have
which
to.
we'll do, or spread them or something, because
Mhm.
it's just like you can't.
I
You can't
mean, if
carry
we
them around
If
forever.
we constantly have 2 dogs,
Yeah,
and then Fawn wants to get,
that's 2 boxes every 15ish years.
yeah,
you
and then
know.
Fawn wants to get like a guinea pig or whatever, and I'm sure Rachel wants some sort of weird
That's a very
snake
small
or
box.
something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just like, it's just going to be a lot. We're just
Yeah.
going to have a little burial area under this tree.
Yep.
Maybe bury everybody or
I know,
spread
I've
their
still
ashes or
I
whatever.
still have Cassie's ashes, and I keep on
Mhm.
thinking we should take them out to the farm and spread them around.
Love that
Cassie.
farm.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Fawn and Sage would want to come.
There you have it. Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
1 in 4 Americans buy healthy foods. Why do they buy healthy foods? 1 in 4 Americans buy healthy foods for what reason?
To
What?
be
I
healthy.
don't get it.
1 in 4 Americans buy healthy foods, not just because they're healthy.
I'm guessing.
Right.
To
I'm guessing they're
appear-
saying 1 in 4 of people who buy healthy
Healthy
food.
foods.
Yes.
1 in 4 do it for some weird reason.
because they
Yes.
want to look cool.
They like the taste.
Weight loss? I don't know.
Alex nailed it. They buy
Oh.
them because they're trendy.
Oh well, of course.
You buy food because it's trendy?
It's like
How
people who
lame
buy
are you?
books and put them on their shelf and never read it, just so
Yeah.
everyone who goes over to their
Well-
house says, "Oh, look how intellectual."
I mean,
Yep.
a lot of food starts with a trend. I mean, cappuccino was just
That's true.
Yes.
was just a coffee in Italy, and then all of a sudden somebody's, oh, cappuccino, and now all of a sudden there's cappuccino shops
Mom,
everywhere.
it's cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
You
I
know,
was actually
same thing
thinking
with
about that.
acai bowls and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
acai is
That
good.
was not a thing, and now all of a
Delicious.
sudden acai is
Smoothie
everywhere.
Bowls are one of my
I was
favorite
actually
things.
thinking about that last night while I was trying to fall asleep. I was like, okay, so you got bread, which is basically flour, water, and yeast.
Yeah.
Which means at some point, someone saw some yeast on like a wild plant and decided, I'm going to scrape this off and put it in my dough
I know the
and
live
see what
yeast thing
happens.
is weird. I know.
I was like, I understand, like, okay, you think about who's the first person to milk a cow. And like, yeah, it's weird, but it's like, baby cows drink milk. Why can't I drink milk? It makes sense. But yeast is just like, they didn't know what it was. It's just like some crap that grows in the wild. Why would you think about putting that? Because you can't eat it either. It's not food. It's
Well-
something that makes dough into food.
You're gonna eat
I know,
brewer's
It's like,
yeast.
where do you get the idea?
Well, it's like penicillin too. Like
Oh, it took us
That was
until
an
like,
accident. I mean,
I know,
that,
it was
yeah,
an
something
accident,
grew in
yeah.
a petri dish, and they were like, "What is this?"
yeah,
And then
Yeah,
I don't know
but
how
it took us like until the 19th century when we had an idea of like, we knew what mold was and
Yeah.
we knew what molecules were and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeast people have been using it for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah. I know. When you
Well-
think about certain things, you're just like, who was the first person to be like, this is an idea and
Yeah.
I'm going to do
And,
it?
so, and
That-
yeast became one of the biggest food trends in human history. So there you
that
go.
show, The History of the World in 6 Glasses,
Yeah, great show.
they talk about the fact that beer was most likely an accident.
Yeah, there was not real like it's related to beer, but it's not about beer. The history of carbonated beverages.
Yeah.
Someone was brewing beer and he sat a bowl of water on top of the beer, like fermentation vat, just because he was like, I'm just going to put this here for now.
Mhm.
And he came back and it was bubbling. So you don't know what's going on with this water. It's on top of this like mixture and it starts bubbling. Would your first instinct be to drink it?
No, absolutely.
Because
not. I'd be like,
mine
this
would
has gone
not.
bad.
But yeah, this guy
I
was
would
like,
give it to the dog.
bubbling water, eh? And then he drank it, and that's how carbonation was discovered.
Oh,
Some guy
So the-
drank some like mystery potion that he made accidentally and was
but
like,
there are springs that have natural effervescence in it, so it's not unheard of to have.
there are,
bubbling
but they didn't know
water.
why it happened. They didn't understand that it was like carbonation, that can
Oh, that
be
you
imparted
could
into
make it,
water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
Yep. Food history is very strange.
It is.
Yeah, I suppose
If
that's
all
true.
humans were like me, we would just be eating berries and nuts forever. We'd never experiment.
Berries and
Those
nuts,
are
that's
steak.
it.
Yep. I know cashews are good. I'll just eat these for the rest of my life. I'm not taking any chances.
God, who wouldn't eat cashews every day for the rest of their life if they could, though?
As Alex
It is
called
true.
them, peanuts that are curved.
Yeah, curved
Peanuts that are
peanuts.
curved.
Do we have any
Right.
more of those peanuts that are curved? It's called a cashew.
I don't know. It's unbelievable. You know what's amazing about Minnesota? There's no question about this. The Timberwolves, Alex, your team, your basketball club is doing extremely well.
Heck yeah. Oh, and I figured out the team that's in the number one spot. It's because they're in their conference that they're in is extremely easy. That's why they're
Oh.
so high above
Oh,
the Nuggets and the
so
Wolves. Because their conference is because there's the
So the
Eastern
bar is
Conference
low.
and the Western Conference. So yes, the bar is extremely low, and that's why they're so incredible.
so when we get to playoffs, we're gonna be humiliated.
Not the Timberwolves. The
Not
Timberwolves are
Timberwolves.
kicking ass.
It's
They
the-
haven't
who's-
lost a
who's
game
in
yet.
first place. Because
Well,
it's the Nuggets, the Celtics, and the
First place is the Celtics.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Celtics are the ones. Yeah, they're in first place, but their conference is a
Western
lot.
Conference first place is the Thunder and Nuggets combined, or whatever, tied.
Denver, yeah. Who
Yeah.
they're playing right now.
Who we have just swept them
If we
at home.
if we
the
beat
last
the
two
Nuggets,
games.
we will, I think, be three-way tied for first because we would be 50s. Actually, no, we would still be in third, I believe.
Well,
Really?
and-
We would. Well, wait. No, we would be
Placement-
tied with the Nuggets, but the Thunder would still be in first.
No, because the placements don't matter right now because it's now the playoffs. So if we
Oh,
win over the Nuggets, then the Nuggets are done.
oh,
They're in no place
So we would
anymore.
be in second then.
We're
Thunder
in-
would still be in
We're
first.
in the brackets to the
Because if
the
we won,
finals.
we would be 57-26,
Yeah.
but Thunder is 57-25. So they have one fewer loss than us.
Okay.
So
There you go.
Oklahoma.
So we
City.
could, if Thunder loses their next game and we win the next game, then we would be in first for our conference.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
hey.
We have a much harder conference than the Eastern
Yeah, the Celtics are just destroying the Eastern Conference.
because the Eastern Conference is pathetic.
Apparently.
But we might move to the Eastern Conference in the next couple of years.
Timberwolves?
How does that
Why?
work?
I don't know.
We're in the middle, and there's a lot of
We can go wherever we want.
teams in the West that are good, and so if we
Mhm.
remain good, they might move us over to the East.
Oh.
Really? Now, this is such a Minnesota thing.
Oh boy.
The Timberwolves are just kicking ass in the playoffs, and not just winning by a little. They're blowing teams out.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no question about that.
like good teams.
Typical Minnesota, the number one headline in the Star Tribune is also at stake in Wolves Lynx ownership fight, possible damages. So while they're playing their ass off, they're going to sue each other. It's like, oh my
course.
God. I just really, why? Why does it have to be the case?
'Cause
Explain.
there's a
it to me.
lot of money involved.
It's all about money. There's no question about it. Alex, do you know anything about it? Because you're a huge Timberwolves fan. So how is this whole thing going with a couple of
It's T-Wolves, Tom.
T-Wolves. Yeah, let's go with T-Wolves.
The Wolves.
So he did sell the team, but they didn't make the payment on time, so he took it back. Is that how it worked?
I don't know about the ins and outs of the whole ownership
Oh, okay.
situation because there was a whole thing with Aaron A-Rod.
Yeah, A-Rod's part of it. Yep.
He's part of it, and then he was shut out from some games by what's his face, the old guy that owns most of it. What's his name?
Taylor.
Swift.
What the hell's his name? Glenn Taylor.
Glenn Taylor, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He wouldn't allow A-Rod into some games because they were in some sort of dispute,
Right,
so he was
right.
shut out of games, and that's this whole thing. And everybody just wants Glenn Taylor to leave.
Oh.
They're all
Glenn-
like, "You're old and crappy, and you're causing problems. See ya."
He owns the team.
I know, but everybody, like fans, are like, he's his time's up. Like he's
Oh, really?
yeah, like because he sold some of his shares earlier this year.
Yeah. Yep.
And he keeps talking about selling more, but now they're doing well, and so now it's
Well, the headline of Star Tribune this morning is Taylor says the Timberwolves are no longer for sale.
okay.
Oh,
So he's
there you
now that they're doing well, he's like, oh, I'll actually stay around for a bit.
Yeah.
But he's
Why not?
I don't know. He's so weird. Every
He's
game,
owned them when they sucked, so it might be fun to own them
Yeah.
when they're good.
but I guess
Might
he's a controversial human being.
Ah,
Yeah,
what do you know, a
isn't he
wealthy
worth-
man being weird.
Isn't he worth a few $1 billion?
Yeah, Dan told me how he made his money, and I'm trying to
What's his name?
remember.
Wedding invitations
Glenn
is how it
Taylor.
started.
Glenn Taylor. I thought he was a singer.
No, that's Johnny Taylor.
I don't know who I'm thinking
Johnny
of.
Cash.
Johnny Cash. That's who it is.
Glenn
Glenn Miller?
Miller.
That's probably what I'm thinking
Glenn
of.
Yeah,
Glenn Miller.
probably.
Campbell.
But he
He
wasn't
wasn't a singer, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Glenn is a very musical name, isn't
It's a very amusing.
Yes.
True.
it?
What do
Let's
you got?
see. He grew up on a farm.
Ew.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Got an MBA from Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically he just did what all these.
But it doesn't say how much he's worth.
Oh, you just want to know his net worth?
His net
How
worth.
he made
yeah.
his money.
Is
Let's
that ever
see.
accurate online
Not
anyway?
terribly,
It's usually
but
in the range.
I think it was a printing business, and they specialized in wedding invitations. I think
roughly $3 billion.
$3 billion. And did he kind of specialize in wedding invitations, Andy? Is that how he got it?
How did Glenn Taylor make his money?
How did Glenn Taylor make his money? Let's see. He founded the Taylor Corporation, which is a graphic communication company, whatever that
It's
is.
a printing company, right?
He bought a wedding service,
Yep.
Ah,
There you
wedding
go.
service business for $2 million, turned it into Taylor Corp, which is a printing firm, and there you go. So it was a wedding service, and then he made it into like a generic printing company.
Oh, so there you go. That's how he made all his
Taylor
money.
Corporation, yeah, it's got 10,000 employees.
Jesus, really?
Isn't it
That's
weird
big.
that there's these businesses? Like, I've never heard of this business in my life.
I've never heard of it.
Like,
No.
when you think of printing companies like Shutterfly, Minted, like those types of things. But, like, yet this man has $3 billion. So
Right.
obviously it's a very
It's
successful
doing pretty
company.
well.
Like, but it's
Well,
weird.
it's the kind of thing that you wouldn't, unless you own a very big business that you need like signage for,
Yeah.
you're never going to hear about them.
Mhm.
right. Yeah.
It's kind
plus
of place where it's like if you want to make a product and you want a label on that product, they'll make the labels for you.
Okay.
Well, back in the old days, when you got married or had invitations written out, you used to go to Dayton's department store
Oh, yeah.
and go to their invitation room and look through books
Mm.
upon books of cardstock and different inks and different lettering. And
I would say this first one, please. Thank you.
that's how you picked out your wedding invitations. It wasn't just an online,
Yeah.
you know, click, 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 done.
There you have it.
Oh, breaking news.
But
The new iPad Pro is out, and it's only $349 with a qualified trade-in.
Oh,
Which, you know what that means? It's
yep.
an iPad that you bought 2 weeks ago. Might be
Yep.
worth half of
Qualified
what
trade-in, huh?
half of what they'll give you now for
And
another trade.
what is it without the qualified trade-in?
I didn't say that. I just got a notice on my
Let's
watch about it.
see.
I
go
think it's
to their
on Best
website.
Buy. Best
Order
Buy.
now.
We have two extremely old iPads. that can barely do anything.
I looked
Yeah.
into trading in my computer, which doesn't work anymore, and I have to just I just have to recycle it.
You mean the one
my
in
old
Golden Valley?
my old Apple one, which I loved. It was such a great computer, and then
We
it
bought
just
that
got
for the
too old.
podcast when it first started.
Yes, for electronics, it was very old.
Yes.
I loved it though. It just was such an easy. It never broke down. It never did weird things. I never had to have it repaired or fixed or anything like that. And I was like, oh, I should trade this in on a laptop or something. And it was like, no, you can send it to us and we'll recycle it. It's too old to give you even $1.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to show you a picture. This is the picture that they use to advertise this new iPad Pro on their website.
Okay.
What is that supposed to be?
Pro?
It looks like
It
Yeah, it
says,
says
but
Pro, but it
is it like
looks like
is it
bumpy.
embossed on the back of the iPad? 'Cause it just looks
Is
bad.
it the screen?
It
Is
looks
it-
like
yeah,
an
is that
iPad
the
that's been in a fire.
It does.
It's
That
not,
is
it's not
very
good.
strange.
And this is the only picture of this thing.
Really?
Of the
Oh,
iPad-
it's a
new iPad.
The
mystery.
iPad Pro on their website. Yep.
They do
Well, I
like to
mean-
have mystery, stuff.
Yes.
So the 11-inch model is $1,000. 13-inch model is $1,300.
Yeah.
So
1300,
there you
not
go.
$399.
Not
Okay,
well. There's
interesting.
no qualified trade-in, so
If
Let's
that's
see.
without a qualified trade.
I'm going to build my
I-
iPad. It can be silver or space black. Well, Ethan likes space, so there you go.
I'm getting. For Mother's Day, I asked for a new Apple Watch because Sage's.
Oh, he broke it. Another one?
Two
That's
of
Dad's
two.
old one.
Yeah, this is Sage's 2 of 2 on breaking my watches, but they make
I don't think you should get one then.
refurbished one. They sell refurbished ones on Amazon.
Oh.
I would say that you should get the warranty.
So
Yeah.
But does it include your son breaking it with a
I
baseball
told
bat or
Sage, I'm
whatever
like,
he
you're
did?
not allowed to touch. Well, see, the thing is, he's not a kid that breaks stuff usually. It's just my Apple Watches, apparently. The first time he swung a golf club and just smashed right into my watch.
Oh God!
Huh.
So that was a mistake.
Well, it's a good thing you had that watch on, I guess.
Yeah, because Rosa would have been my wrist.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then this time I was in the shower and he came into the bathroom and was like, "What time is it?" And took my watch off of the vanity and then dropped it on the
Mm.
marble floor and
Yep.
it landed just like right in the corner and then it was broke again. So they're not exactly durable. But
No, they're not.
it still works fine, but this is right where the time is.
Can't you get a new? Is it just
No, they cannot be
a
repaired.
screen. You can get a new screen, but it costs more than a refurbished Apple Watch.
Oh,
So-
that makes sense.
That's what I'm asking for Mother's Day.
I thought
It's a-
Apple got into a bunch of trouble for not repairing things and making
They
people
got
buy
into
new
trouble for
products.
gluing the back on so you can't access the battery.
Right.
And I think the EU might have passed a law that says they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
I feel like there was
because
a
you're
pull.
just filling up, landfills with electronic
Yep.
waste, and when you could just get a new battery, it just
I know,
doesn't
it's
make
insane.
sense.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Did you know
I-
that there are disposable vape pens out there that have rechargeable lithium-ion batteries?
Why? Why
But
is
they're
that a thing?
designed to be disposed. So you just puff on them for a few hours and then throw this rechargeable battery away.
And it's a,
Yeah,
Throw it in the
gets
garbage.
in the groundwater. Thank you.
why do you need a? I don't know how vaping works. Why is there a battery?
Well, something has to turn it
It's
into
like
vapor.
the vub. It just,
Yeah,
like,
it heats it up and
heats it up
makes,
and then-
makes it
okay,
into
yeah, yeah.
vapor.
I'm
and
like-
then inhale it.
I've never actually even considered how vaping works.
well,
I
those
just
little
see people do it, and I'm like,
those
ew.
cigars that you used to smoke, those
Yeah,
electronic
that's the same
cigars.
exact technology.
Did they have
water.
lithium
Yeah.
batteries? Can you recharge them?
No.
I mean, you can if
If
you
you
take
took
the
it out.
battery out and hooked it up to a recharging device, but they're not designed to be recharged. They're designed to be thrown away, which is just the most wasteful thing I've
That's
ever heard.
extremely.
I know.
Especially considering when people are freaking out about the electric vehicle batteries. You have these
Yeah.
African toddlers mining poisonous gas to make your
Yeah,
car.
cobalt,
But then
yeah.
people are throwing out hundreds of thousands of these lithium-ion little batteries
Yeah.
and not giving it a second thought.
So if you have a vape, like a reusable vape or vape
Mhm.
thingy, what what do you do? Like, what do you buy? Like a cartridge of?
There's a lot of different
it's like
kinds, but
nicotine
usually,
and flavoring.
yeah,
and
usually
that's
it's just like a little
okay.
cartridge that you snap onto it, and then there you go.
Okay.
Oh,
It's almost
And
like
it's like a disposable
Pez.
razor.
You put the Pez in the dispenser, you eat all the Pez.
Yeah.
You put the Pez back in the dispenser.
Okay.
But then there's also tank kinds where you have the liquid and you put the liquid in the tank, and then there you
you
go.
pour
Like
the
a
liquid
refillable.
into-
And that way you
Jar
don't have to
later.
throw away these little
Cartridge.
cartridges.
cartridge thingies.
Because the cartridges do have a little tiny bit of circuitry in them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no battery and they're very simple, but it's like, you're throwing away plastic and metal. So.
Yeah.
But with a tank, you're not. So
Okay.
people sometimes prefer that.
Interesting. And people,
Alex getting
No,
bored. apparently.
Neon.
do people make their own like homemade vape liquids?
You can, but I would very strongly recommend you do not, because pure nicotine is extraordinarily poisonous. If you get
want that
100%
around the
nicotine
house.
solution on you, if you get it on your skin, you have to wash it off right away, or it could kill you.
Oh,
Dear God.
Jesus.
Well, nicotine, the amount of nicotine they put in like vape pens is, I think it's like 1% or something like that. It's super diluted. It's like how when you buy hydrogen peroxide, it's like 1% hydrogen
Yeah,
peroxide,
yeah.
because 100%, if you touch it, it would react with the moisture on you and explode.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
nicotine's the same way. You don't mess with 100% nicotine. But people sometimes people do it. They'll mix their own and add
Huh.
flavorings, and
well, can you buy 100% nicotine?
you can.
Oh, that's probably a bad thing to have on the market.
It's not something I would ever recommend you buy.
I've never put any thought into any of this, and now I'm just shocked.
There you go.
This is something
Well,
people
and
do.
consider the alternative would be smoking, which is, people say vaping's worse, but it's not.
Well, just don't.
Smoking is just not good.
Just don't do either of them.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Remember,
All right.
we. Oh,
Remember what?
can I? It's a short story. I will close with it. I know I've said it on here before, but since we're talking about it, I have to bring it up. One time we were in the car and Fawn was 2. Yeah, because it was during COVID. And we were driving and there was a woman smoking on the corner. We were at a 4-way stop and there was a woman smoking. And Fawn went, "That woman's smoking." And I said, "Yep." And she was like, "Smoking is only for witches and idiots."
Well,
Okay.
witches and idiots.
Wow.
So
Witches and
that's
idiots.
how Fawn
You're in
feels.
you're
I
in
don't know
good
if I've ever
company.
seen a witch smoke in any sort
Yeah,
of
witches don't smoke, do
capacity.
they?
They're
I
not
think
really
she was
well
just
known
think-
for smoking.
I mean, in her 2-year-old brain, she was just thinking of like the worst words, like the worst people
Yeah.
you could think of, and it was
A
witches
witch
and idiots.
is about as bad as it gets.
And then like we talked to her and we were like, "No, like people that smoke aren't bad. Smoking is bad for
They're
you.
just
Just
stupid."
because you smoke doesn't mean that it's bad." It was like this whole conversation. Which Dan and I tried so hard to not cry laughing 'cause
Mhm.
just coming from the back seat, she was rear facing and she's just like, "That woman."
Yep. Kids will say things.
Judgmental at 2.
All right, we'll close with this one. Be grateful that you're not RFK Jr.
No, what happened?
I think he's got a pretty good life, personally.
Not today, he doesn't.
Except for his voice thing.
Yeah, that's sucky.
Yeah, the voice thing's kind of... Well, apparently he had a complete physical,
Yeah?
and they found a dead worm in his brain.
Sorry.
It sounds like it's probably what the hell's it called? There's a
Wouldn't
specific
you just
kind
absorb that after a
No,
while?
there's a specific kind of worm that you get from eating or drinking dirty water. It's normally found in pigs, but it
Why is
can
he
get into your
drinking-
brain. It makes itself into like a little cyst, and then it just dies.
Why is
Well,
he
what do you
drinking
do?
dirty water?
And
I
what
don't know.
do you do about it?
Depending on size and location, you should probably get it removed because it can burst, and that's a
Oh,
problem.
that's what Jude had.
No, it's not what Jude had.
Jude had those weird cysts, and it turned out that there was some sort of parasite in them, and he had to go.
Not in his brain.
No, but it still was
It's
bad.
what the hell is it called?
What hasn't Jude had? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Tapeworm. It's a type of
Tapeworm,
tapeworm.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, nasty.
He was experiencing memory loss and mental fogginess so severe that a friend grew concerned he might. Okay, now of course the.
Yep.
A friend grew concerned he might have a brain tumor. Mr. Kennedy said he consulted several of the country's top neurologists, many of whom had either treated or spoken to his uncle, Senator Edward M. Kennedy, before his death the previous year of brain cancer. Several doctors noticed a dark spot in the younger Mr. Kennedy's brain scans and concluded that he had a tumor. He said in a 2012 deposition reviewed by the New York Times, Mr. Kennedy was immediately scheduled for a procedure at Duke University Medical. Why are we talking about
Wait,
this?
2012?
This is
Old news.
So he's also had a brain tumor. That's not great.
Yeah.
Junior brain worm. Let's see. Doctors found a dead worm in his brain. But this is him saying that the doctors said this, so
Yeah.
he might be. Oh yeah, no, he is talking about this case from years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, Mr. Kennedy was immediately scheduled for a procedure at Duke University Medical Center by the same surgeon who had operated on his uncle. While packing for the trip to get the surgery, he said he received a call from a doctor at New York Presbyterian Hospital who had a different opinion. Mr. Kennedy, he believed, had a dead parasite in his head.
Yeah, he had a tapeworm that got into his brain, calcified, and caused some issues.
weird.
But this was like a long time ago, apparently.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
'cause-
caused by a worm that got into my brain, ate a portion of it, and then died.
God.
That's a headline today, though. It's not an old story. It's today's headline.
Did he put out a book or something? Why are
yeah,
people talking
why is
about
this all of a sudden?
He's running for president.
Probably
Yeah,
because
that's-
somebody said that they were going to expose the truth about his worm brain, and so he decided to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I think they're trying to poison the well. It's like, oh, he's
Yeah.
brain damaged. He can't
Yep,
possibly be
yep.
president.
That's most likely what
Oh.
this is.
Here,
Because-
I figured it out. Now an independent presidential candidate, the 70-year-old Mr. Kennedy has portrayed his athleticism and relative youth as an advantage to the two oldest people ever to seek the White House. So now they're like, oh, he's got problems too.
Yeah, that's exactly what everything's about marketing.
It is true.
Everything.
But it's just because all of these places are suddenly reporting on it simultaneously. New York
Yeah, they
Post,
are.
Guardian,
Yep.
CNN, New York
Yep.
Times, Politico, The Hill.
Oh, they'll go mental about this for 2 weeks.
He has gone to lengths to appear hale, skiing with a professional snowboarder and with an Olympic gold medalist who called him a ripper as they raced down the mountain.
A ripper.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
All right. That'll do it. But we will talk to you
I'm gonna
guys.
go
Well, not
scan-
all of you.
I'm gonna have
Just
a brain
Andy.
scan just in case
I was
there's
gonna
one
say,
in
make
there.
sure
Just
there's
in
no
case.
bugs in there.
Mhm.
All right.
I have drank
Around.
plenty of dirty water.
Yeah, Jude.
Jude.
Share water with Jude.
Baby.
Trouble.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Got a picture in my pocket reminds me of this one was before. Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talk in my door.